Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Faith, and today we're going to be reacting to a clip which says tunnels built beneath a Jewish synagogue. Wow, that's an interesting topic. If you're new to my YouTube channel, you're highly welcome. Please do subscribe, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And with all that being said, let's just dive right into this video.
Happy Friday, everybody. You made it to the end of the week. Well, what can I say? We are just 12 days into 2024, and it is already shaping up to be quite a weird year. And we're already talking about possible alien invasions in Miami. And then, of course, this happened. Take a listen. Yep, Ninja Turtles are real. Plus, later on in the show, I hit the trail with Vivek Ramaswamy yesterday in Iowa, and I can't wait to tell you guys about that and why I am supporting him and his campaign. All that and more today coming up on Candace Owens. All right, man, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, unless you were under a rock or potentially in a tunnel in Brooklyn, you probably did not miss this story, did not miss these clips that were circulating all over the internet coming out of, again, Brooklyn, New York, a Hasidic Jewish sect. I guess we should just roll the footage of what went down. Take a look. What's going on here? Okay. You get it. You get the picture here. Just an utterly chaotic scene that happened here. And obviously it spawned a ton of conspiracy theories. Let me tell you something, as somebody who has lived in New York City for 7 years of my life, it ain't every day that you're walking down the street and you see a bunch of Hasidic Jews getting arrested, right? That is obviously unique. It is obviously going to make the news, especially when you find out that they're being arrested because they dug some tunnels beneath the ground. Now, I want to be clear here of how this entire thing was spawned. This actually happened. People began calling the police because they were hearing Jews beneath their buildings. First of all, imagine the 911 call. Hello, 911, what's your emergency? I hear Jews in the basement. Completely crazy, but this is actually what went down. People were saying that they were hearing Jewish people in the basement that were speaking Yiddish. The cops probably thought these people were insane, were making this up. It turns out that these people were not lying. They were not making it up. And when they arrived, what you just saw is what went down. These individuals began blocking the entryway to the tunnel. Obviously, very suspect. It ended in over 10 arrests of people. I'll show you some footage now of them getting arrested by the NYPD. Here is more footage of the tunnels. This is being reported by the New York Post. Take a look. So what you are seeing, in case you are listening to this podcast, is it's just a ton of boxes. It's obviously very dark. It's quite extensive. And I want to be clear that these tunnels were dug illegally. There is a staircase. It is allegedly 3 stories of tunnel that, again, were illegally dug. So yes, these tunnels were dug under the synagogue. Again, I would like to emphasize illegally. And so you can completely understand why this caused a reaction on social media. It's a very strange scene. You see that there are young children in the church. There's a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. At one point, a guy grabs his yarmulke, throws it back on his head. I mean, utterly chaotic. I first want to just point out the worst possible take that I saw on this matter. And this is from a journalist that, he gets it right sometimes. This time, he definitely got it wrong. Yashar Ali said this about your interest. If you thought that what you just saw was odd and weird, if you thought that the person that we just showed you coming out of a tunnel in New York City at the top of the show was weird, Yashar says, no, it's not weird. There's something wrong with you. You are basically anti-Semitic. He tweeted this: the bad behavior of some extremists at the Chabad in Crown Heights should have been a local news issue at most. Instead, it turned into a global anti-Semitic flood of some of the most dangerous conspiracy theories about Jews dating back to the Middle Ages. The attempt, one that shouldn't have been made and was wrong, to expand a basement has now turned into, quote unquote, the Jews have tunnels where they are, insert blood libel here. I'm seeing this spread aggressively all over the world. It's not surprising, but still depressing. Let's just focus on the first line there. It should have been a local news issue at most. Wild. Absolutely insane to say that. And I'm going to tell you why it's insane. I'm actually going to challenge you here. Imagine if there was a Catholic church, okay, and you suddenly see a bunch of bishops being arrested, mass arrested. A mass arrest took place. By the way, whenever there's a mass arrest, you can bet it's going to make national news because it's just not every day that you're seeing a ton of people being arrested at once and so much mayhem. But imagine if this was actually a Catholic church. You see a bunch of bishops being arrested. And then you find out when you're looking at the footage that they're blocking a tunnel. They're resisting arrest and not allowing the police to do their job and providing them access to the tunnel. What would have happened? It would have been a global news story. People would have been like, it's pedophilia in the Catholic Church. Oh my God. The Pope would have had to issue a statement. That is how viral the story would have been. He would have issued a statement, would have come down, he would have condemned it, and still people would have believed the conspiracy theories. Imagine if it was even something smaller, if it was Jehovah's Witnesses, if it was Mormons. Imagine if out in Utah, we found out that you see a bunch of Mormon leaders in a church, or even Mormon youth in the church, so much mayhem, freaking out, resisting arrest. Then you'd find out they dug tunnels beneath the Mormon church. What would you have said? Oh, it was a sex cult to the Mormon people. Absolutely, something is happening here. And it, of course, would have been national news. Imagine if it was New York City and it was a mosque and there were tunnels. It would have made global news. People would have said, oh my gosh, it's a terrorist cell. What's going on here? Clearly what's happening is something. Get the FBI involved. We've been throwing it back to 9/11. And the only thing people would have thought of was that obviously these were jihadists that were up to no good. Remove religion from it, because religion always brings with it the idea that there is some cult. It doesn't matter what religion you are, right? I don't know why people are trying to pretend that this is anti-Semitism. All religions bring the idea that there is cultish behavior that takes place within their church, their synagogue, wherever it is they practice worship, especially if they're digging tunnels. Like I said, remove religion from it. Let's pretend that this was just a Mexican family out in California, and you suddenly see that the police have descended and there's a ton of Mexicans outside going, no. And there is now a tunnel that's been exposed. What do you think? Be honest. The cartel. Obviously, there's going to be some drugs in there. Clearly, that could be the only logical reason, because we are relying on cultural depictions. We know that obviously the cartels did in fact build tunnels, and it was to transport things illegally. Now, to be clear, when you are building illegal tunnels and you are caught on video blocking the police and you are resisting arrest because you don't want to provide them access to the tunnels, it's not because you are just up to something good. Or rather, what I should say, to be clear, they weren't necessarily resisting arrest, but they were resisting the police investigation. They weren't allowing the police access to the tunnels. So again, let's just completely say to any person that is pretending that interest in this story is anti-Semitic is that you are disingenuous and you should not be listened to. Now, of course, what will naturally happen if people do not get answers, immediate answers, an immediate understanding of what actually took place, you are going to find a random hole of people on the internet that are going to build upon a conspiracy theory. Are there people that do, in fact, hate Catholics and Christians? Of course. Are there people that hate Jewish people? Of course. Are there people that are going to use confirmation bias when these circumstances take place to further their hatred for a community of people? Of course. The only way that you are able to conquer that is with radical honesty. Every question that will pop up in your mind. By the way, the things that were being taken out of the tunnel, mattresses, stained mattresses. Now some people are saying it's stained with blood. There's no way that anybody could know that outside of a lab that could test it. But yes, in fact, there were multiple stained mattresses that were pulled out. Yes, in fact, there were baby chairs that were in the tunnels as well. It's going to drive people crazy unless you give them radical honesty. Instead, what was given, first and foremost, a statement was issued by the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters. Now, I just want to say, just in case you're wondering what the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic movement is, I'll give you the answer to that. The Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic movement is an Orthodox movement with roots in Eastern Europe. Brooklyn's Crown Heights neighborhood is home to roughly 20,000 strong Chabad community, and they actually have their own courts, their own rabbinical courts, plus a Jewish community council. So yes, this is a very strong sect in the Brooklyn Crown Heights neighborhood. They issued this statement regarding the footage, regarding people's interest in the matter. They wrote, the Chabad Lubavitch community is pained by the vandalism of a group of young agitators who damaged the synagogue below Chabad headquarters at 770 Eastern Parkway Monday night. These odious actions will be investigated, and the sanctity of the synagogue will be restored. Our thanks to the NYPD for their professionalism and sensitivity. We are grateful for the outpouring of concern and for the support of our Chabad Lubavitch institutions around the world. Again, that was written by the rabbi and the chairman of the synagogue. Now, again, saying that these are young agitators does not answer all of the questions that people are naturally going to have. How were they able to dig this tunnel? You don't just do that with your hands. How are they able to break through cement and dig this extensive tunnel beneath the synagogue? Why did they build this tunnel? What were they agitating? What was the issue that was at hand that allowed this to happen? Why didn't you call the police? Why was it instead the neighbors upstairs that were hearing them that called the police? Again, the best thing to have done, in my personal opinion, would have been to have a press conference and to allow people to ask all of these questions and to provide them with all of the answers to it. And that is not obviously what happened here. Now let's get to what we actually know to be true about this story. And again, the reason why I waited is some people were tweeting at me like there was some conspiracy. Again, the internet is filled with conspiracies. Why aren't you covering the tunnels? It's a huge story. Yes, it was a very big story, but I wanted to wait until there were actual facts and not just people that were suspicious that pedophilia was happening in this basement. It is not always great to be first because then you may just be spreading lies. Here is what we do know that is true about these arrests that took place. 9 of the people that were arrested were aged 19 to 21. So yes, that fact checks true that this was a young group that was responsible for what was happening. They were arrested for criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. People that were in the Hasidic community began speaking out, and they revealed how 6 original tunnelers, as they're describing them, most of them in their teens and early 20s, began their tunnel building operation. Here's a quote from Eaton Kalmowitz talking to the New York Post. He says, "You've seen the Shawshank Redemption? That's what these young men did at first. They were just kind of trying to dig this tunnel themselves. And then they realized that the task apparently was beyond them. And they organized a collection of illegal immigrants. They hired immigrant laborers, described as Mexicans, to do the job properly, to install support beams and living and sleeping on site for at least 3 weeks for those illegal immigrants so that their presence would not be detected." That is a big fact that is being shared there. Because if it is true, and yeah, it is also a crime, and we should definitely see these individuals prosecuted for the crime, if they were in fact harboring illegal immigrants in the tunnels, then that may provide a more logical explanation for why there were mattresses beneath, right? And instead of thinking that there is some pedophilic ritual that is happening, you can go, okay, they're harboring illegal immigrants and their illegal immigrants are sleeping there because they don't want them to be detected, and so they gave them mattresses. And again, we don't know why the mattresses were staying. Maybe they're old mattresses, maybe they found them on the street, I don't know. There are plenty more questions that aren't answered, but that does maybe also give us a reason, an answer rather, to why you're seeing high chairs, and what we have seen in these scores of immigrants that are coming across the border. We do, of course, know that there is an illegal immigrant problem, particularly in Brooklyn. We talked just earlier this week about the fact that it's raining, snowing illegal immigrants, so much so that they are now providing the high school space to those illegal immigrants so that they can be sheltered. And so you can imagine when you see them with their young kids coming across the border, as we have seen in so much of the footage that we have unveiled this year, that maybe some of them had family members, maybe they somehow got a high chair into there. Again, this is all me being speculative. I am just saying that we don't always need to run away with our imagination. Irrespective of what happened here, it is completely weird. There are still tons of answers that have not been provided in my in my own estimation, and obviously in the public at large estimation by the synagogue headquarters itself. And so this is a story that we do not know all the answers to just yet, but we will continue to follow it, not because it is an act of anti-Semitism, just because it's objectively weird to see a Hasidic Jew come out of the sewer like we showed at the top of the show. That's just weird. All right, guys. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Wow, guys, that was one interesting topic to talk about. A 3-story tunnel under the synagogue of the Jewish. Like, that is so incredible, so mysterious, right? Like, why would they dig such a tunnel under their synagogue? Like, what's the mystery behind this? What do they need it for? And to think that they discovered a lot of explicit deficits from it, a baby chair, stained mattresses, and so on. Like, that leaves me with the wildest imagination of all. But we're going to leave this for the police, like Candace said, to unravel and tell us the facts, like the truth behind all this, because this needs a lot of explanation. And that's that for now. I want you guys to tell me your thoughts or what you think about this clip in the comment section. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, you are highly welcome. Please do subscribe, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And that will be all for now, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.